Hello and welcome to my breakdown video of the new League of Legends WildRift trailer. Riot Game had just recently dropped a new trailer for their new game, WildRift, and it is fun. It is amazing. I rewatched this a couple thousand times. I can't even remember, but I'm here today to break down the video and talk a little bit more about the video from an animator's perspective. I would introduce myself a little bit more. You could call me Sir, and I'm actually an animation student. So please just take whatever I say with a little pinch of salt. And I'm just doing this for my own fun, and I enjoy talking about film. So let's get started. The creators behind this video, as I can tell that they're really very inspired by Edgar Wright. As you can see, this very starting that they have. Right, that is a Edgar Wright style of introducing a character. A little addition of a little flourish of this, a little of the character in it. Same with here. Really very inspired by Edgar Wright. And as you can see with the music, they match the visuals with the music, and that is really cool and really amazing. It's really difficult to do, syncing up with the music to create actions that actually sync up with the music. So Edgar Wright also does that with most of his films. And I will jump to one part that is that's lovely. That's really lovely. Here, you can see the music really matches with the music. It's the sound effects that is being created. Same with this part. She goes here. Boom. It goes on beat. Oh my god, this is the best, man. I love this part. And like pum. So like as the cannons go, exactly on beat with the music. And then afterwards, like, and then it will go downward. I'm really terribly sorry. I'm not good with music, but like it will go some like go like that. It also follows with the way the cannon is being shot. As later on, as you can see, it actually hits Brom's shield, and as it hits Brom's shield, it goes lower like. So originally it's really high pitch, pick, and then after it goes like pop. Look at that! How lovely is that? Oh my! I love this. This part is also this part. I have to rewatch this whole and this fight going frame by frame again and again. Can you hear the music that goes really well with the action? As Yasuo dodges, and then like this, it goes with the music. It's on beat. Yeah, same with this shuriken. Tick tick. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the animation of this video. Here, as I will play this video, we immediately start off with Edgar Wright's style of introduction of a character. Usually films start off with like a scene, an establishing shot. We get to see the whole entire situation, but no, this time around we start off with seeing the gun of what this character has. We get to know the character first actually. It's just meant to establish a character getting ready. It's not about the scene, it's not about anything else, it's just about the character itself. And there is so much character acting in just this one small little scene. You know how always Jinx, the character, would just go on and be like, "Oh, fishbone," and then she just start giving character into the canon itself. It's so cute. It's so fun. And how she twirl her gun. I mean, almost every other character with guns does this, but it's a really nice flourish. And the bubblegum, it's a very strong character for Jinx to do this. And oh, look at that. Immediately as it bursts, whoa, and then she smiles. you still get to see some of the gum on her lips itself and her mouth area. It's so fun. She doesn't even try to like clean it off anything. She just smiles. She's like, hey. You know, that's Jinx. This is Jinx as a character. And I love this. And look at how her hands goes off. As she goes like in, you can see that little, like her hand kind of points up. Like she doesn't just go in straight like this, you know, and touches. She has a little tip like, whoop. So it just kind of goes like, whoop, whoop. Really good character acting right there. And as you can see, just look at her fingers. Look at her fingers. Whoop. La, la, la. Goes off like this. And just looking at only her hands and looking at this small little section itself, you can already tell how this character is and how she's like. Coming in, whoop, whoop, blah. That is such a nice and beautiful character acting. Just right on this small little, tiny little part where she touches this hashtag item. From here, this is the first time that we actually get to see her full body. And where is she in a place and what's she doing. But we already know what she's doing from the first few cuts here. And I wonder if I think this is 3D. Yeah, this is definitely 3D. I don't think there's any 2D animation in this whole entire trailer. And oh, by the way, look at how interesting this is. As the bubble forms, okay, the bubble forms. Oh, nice little lens flare right there. That's very cool. And yeah, this definitely have to do with particle, this kind of visual effects. I'm not too well versed in this section. I only know about character animations and 3D scenes. But this is really cool that as she goes in, you see this distortion, like this red channel, yellow channel distorting, there's green, I mean there's no yellow, but I'm just pointing out red, blue, green channels all coming off. It's almost like one of those, it is a digital distortion that you will get if the channels are not lined up properly. So instead of a regular blur that what cameras would actually do, what they did was having the channels distort. And it's almost like on the level of the way that Spider-Verse does it, the way that they distort and blur things in the background, they distort the channel colors. Because this bubble on its own, it's almost entirely like a different dimension, you could say, as compared to the things around here. It would have just like a normal lens blur and all this. However, this is of a different dimension, and whoop, this camera movement here, it's so fun. We follow Jinx. It's almost like we as a viewer, we are being taken into this place together with her. We are being brought in together, we jump in together with her. We follow her in. Whoop. So that's how it would feel like if we as the viewer would jump into the bubble too. Whoop. And then goes off. Entirely distorted view, yeah, on another place, and boop, immediately you see this here, our eyes are here, and next scene, immediate, our eyes are in the center with all this what's this called, focal lines. Anime does this a lot, and slowly the Western film starts to adapt it to all this, the impact lines, focal line, impact lines. But they are using this, oh, look at the distortion, you can see her face. But there is not much of the RGB channels distortion in here. More of the distortions are on the side of these lines, just so as to our eyes would focus more on her, as she's one of the more clearer characters in this scene. I'm not character, sorry, but clearer subject, clearer object in this scene as compared to all these others that are really, really distorted, and we would follow our eyes through. And now, immediately, this is a scene as she's traveling through, I would just call it traveling through dimensions, almost like a portal, that the colors will be like blue, I mean purple, red, blue, green, really rainbow colors, almost like a light shining directly into your eyes. And now we immediately go into the next scene, and we can tell that it is in the next scene because it's this sudden change. And oh, look at that. Look at that spin. It's just so nice, isn't it? As how there is this light magic going around. It almost looks like glitter. It's really nice. And there's this really nice follow through with the feather right at the tip of this quail pen. And whoop. Wow, I mean, the model of Lux looks really different as compared to the other Lux that we get to see usually. She kind of looks more like a Disney character for this shot itself. It looks different from how we usually see Lux. This shot is created by Blur Studios. It's also the same studio that did the Valorant Ignition Act 1 trailer video. It's also the same video that did the Warriors. I'm wondering, did they use... I don't think so. I was just thinking, did they use the same Lux? Because they did Warriors, right? Did they use the same model that they did for the Warriors trailer? Actually no, they created an entirely new model for this shot. But by the way, the visuals of this shot, the way the character look, is different from how the character how they usually look like, as they look more Disney. Their character just looks more like Disney, like how in this look, the sharp pointy nose, the small and sharp pointy nose, the really big eyes in proportion to their faces with really big pupils, and typically really round and soft face. I think this is more towards the aesthetic of WildRift itself. It looks less like League of Legends, but it looks more like WildRift. There's a slight, tiny little bit of a visual difference between League of Legends and WildRift, and in that WildRift looks more cute, I would say. The characters look more soft. I mean, also because the League of Legends has been around for about 9 years. I'm sorry, 10, nearing to 11 years, and WildRift just came out, and obviously their quality have already changed, as League of Legends from before was just 1 or 2 polys, kind of with their characters are just really low poly, and now they could create really high poly characters and still able to run smoothly in the game itself. So now back to this shot. As you can see here, Lux studying. I mean, when we immediately cut to her, we don't cut to, we don't cut to an establishing shot again. We don't cut to a whole entire area. We don't cut to this first. We don't cut to like seeing the scene with the books, the background and the chair. No, we immediately start off by seeing her hands. We start off, it's the same as how we started off with Jinx, whereby we see a part of them first. And here we immediately, with this pen twirling, it's being established that someone is studying. So we can see a little bit of book in the background. And this person is bored, because when you are really in the zone, focusing, studying, you do not twirl your pen. Usually you will just head down onto your paper, writing or reading your own book. You wouldn't twirl your pen like this. And she's twirling, and now we get a medium shot of her being in this scene, and we can immediately tell that it is Demacia. It is because of the gold and blue, and we can immediately tell who she is by the lighting of this lighting. We can immediately tell where we are supposed to look in this scene, and this book's directing our view into this main focal point here. And we are also being shown that she is studying with books around, piles of books in a library, together with these two framing her in the scene itself. So all our eyes are being directed back into here. So if we were to look up, we'll follow the lines of the book, follow down, and we'll follow here. Same for here, and we'll go back. This is a very symmetrical composition as how Demacia is. Demacia is very clean, very perfect, really symmetrical. Their chairs, their design, if you look at their armor, everything is symmetrical. So even the composition itself is symmetrical. Here, the two pillars, two candles, books of about equal height. As you can see, if I draw a straight line across, equal height, same angle, really straight and clean, symmetrical composition as compared to when we take a look at how Zon looks like. It's really dark. One blob of, I don't know what this is here, possibly a pipe, possibly some things that you would find in a drain, typically, with all this mist around everywhere. And another pipe here. As you can see, it is not symmetrical, and Jinx is not in the center of the frame. But also because the reason why she's not in the center of a frame is because this is, in film, this is called as breathing space. This is called as moving space. What is it called? I forgot what it's called, but it's meant, she's placed there. She's meant to be there as something is gonna happen here. So you can immediately tell. Boom. And back to Demacia. And as much as I was talking about how symmetrical this whole entire place is, this chair is slightly off-centered, if you could tell. It's a tiny little bit of, a tiny bit slanted as Lux is sitting on it, but you can tell that Lux is, in her posture itself, it's also not really, it's not exactly like how someone who is very strict and straight would be. Maybe someone who is here, right? Entirely straight, but she is the only one who is totally slanted. You can see in her line of action, Her head is off to one side. Her hand is on one side. It's not straight. And it's heavier on one side. So we can tell immediately that she is bored. And not only that, we get an additional character acting from her. Yeah, that action. That's the feeling that we are getting. She looks around to make sure no one is looking at her. And she's hiding something. Even if you do not know the law of Demacia or what she's doing, you can tell that this is like, is anyone looking? Is anyone looking? And then you can immediately start to see that a little bit of a cheeky look on her. Just a tiny bit from her face here. As she kind of lifts up a little bit. She got excited. So what we see of her all along? Boring. Suddenly, something intrigues her, and what is it? Just a cute little drawing of her with her magic. And oh, it's plated in gold. That's very, very interesting how it's plated in gold, and this is just normal, regular blue pen ink. It's plated in gold, and look at the how beautiful this book looks. I have no idea what she's studying, and how can someone study this? Probably studying how Demacia look, but anyways, the design of Demacia itself just looks very, very good. Like I said, very straight, symmetrical look. Even the pages itself is entirely the same. From this page to this page is entirely the same. And the little patterns of marbles on this table, plated with gold. This is really beautiful. The Martian look, the design, how clean her hands look as in comparison to what we saw with Jinx before, with like weird blue color nail polish on her nails. But this is really clean, very nice. As you can tell, she files it really perfect Barbie looking hands. And the book has got a little bit of stain. So you can tell that it's not a book that is entirely new from this scene itself too. So you can tell this book has been flipped 1,000 of times. And boop, here she reveals a tiny little drawing. That's really cute. And also, look at this little cloth here. Now it's really detailed as to what they are wearing and what material it is. You can see this turtleneck, and you can even see the little like knitting lines on it. Same goes like you can immediately tell where is armor and which part of it is not. Same goes for this close-up of her hand. And it makes sense now, instead of just wearing like a really hard metal that like might burn your hand if you're like out in the sun without any cloth to help protect yourself from that metal. And this is a really nice touch. And now we get to see a reverse shot. This is from here we look at what she's looking, a POV shot of this paper, and right back to this scene. It's almost like we zoom in, 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 zoom in. There's this constant zooming in of the camera even as it gets cut into different shots. This is a medium. We go to a POV shot. Still this really slow zoom in. And now it's a medium close-up. I could say, yeah, it's a medium close-up. This small, gentle zooming in, it's almost like, it almost feels like you as a character would slowly lean in towards something that you're interested in, something that intrigues you. And this is what is happening in the scene right now. Lux is very interested in whatever that's here. And not only that, we are also slowly getting to know her a little bit more from this little shot. So from here, we are really far away. We are seeing everything else. She's being framed up in this library that she doesn't even want to be in. We slowly get closer and closer, and we start to understand her as a character. And now we get to see more of her expression. And here, after here, we stop zooming in. And really beautiful design. Again, composition. Symmetrical, entirely symmetrical. If I could cut down a line here, you can see even the books here. You could say that this is almost exactly the same composition as the one from here. See, you can see the books here. Entirely symmetrical. Even if I were to draw a line again, it's entirely straight. The distance between here to this pillar here and here to this pillar here is exactly the same as how Demacia is. This is a lovely shot, by the way. I love this shot. It's almost like as she lies down. I mean, everyone has been in this situation in their life, right? Mugging one whole entire day, or even just the moment you open your book, you just start doing this. We can entirely feel for her right now. And this is how it will look like. The reason why this shot is so interesting is because everything is still exactly symmetrical, yes? Except for the book that's slightly covering her. If you were to sit in this exact same position as she is over here, this is how things would look like. This is how you would see her. In a way, this is an, I personally would call it imaginary POV. No one uses this term, but I'm calling it imaginary POV. So imagine if you are also sitting in this same exact position as her, right in front of her. This is what you will see. We are being placed exactly in the shoes of Lux right now. We know exactly how she feels. And boom. Now, we are already in the mood of how she is, like wanting to go out. So really exhausted. And boom, suddenly this sudden change of colors into this teal that what we had from before when we saw Jinx. This sudden teal color that is really off and different away from how the colors of Demacia is. And whoa, what is that? I mean, it's not something that will happen every day, right? When you're studying and suddenly something just explodes in front of you. Oop. This, and back to this exact same bubble that we saw from before. Ta-da! Jinx! And immediately as she pops out, boom, the horizon tilts. Immediately things isn't symmetrical anymore. Symmetrical, really straight. You could say this is, I forgot what's the term, but this 90-degree angle, straight, clean, straight books, and suddenly, boom, haha. That one friend that always jumps into your own bubble. Boom. This part is heavier than Lux. And it's also in a way such that when if you tilt the other direction, instead of tilting this direction, if it were to tilt in this other direction, we wouldn't be able to see Jinx fully. She will be cut off around here, right? So tilting in this direction, we get to see Jinx fully. And because right now she's taking up the most of the scene, most of the frame, and it tilts towards her in this direction. And jump. It's lovely how she doesn't just walk towards her and just like kind of put her arm around Lux normally, but she puts her whole entire weight into this jump into Lux. Just look at her. Her first thing the thing that moves first isn't her legs but her hip. And that is such a lovely character animation. And jumps into it. And we cut into here. Lux is like, huh, what? And boom. And she just drags Lux together with her. Now, on to the next scene. The color changes now. We immediately are able to tell this is a different person. As you can see, this is thick hands, brown color tone, really muddy, neutral color tone, drinking tea. And as I was watching this, I was wondering, who could be the next person? I want to know. As the color from here to here entirely changes. And again, we establish the character not through a scene of who this person is, but what this person is doing. We establish again through a close-up of the hand. I would call it also an extreme close-up of the hand. This is an extreme close-up of the hand. We go back to the Lux part. It's not loading. Hello, can you load? Extreme close-up of the hand. Extreme close-up of her gun. And this prevails on to the next character. Again, we don't see who is it, we just see what they are doing. And then we get introduced to the character. And you have no idea how hard I screamed when I saw Yasuo, okay? I love my man Yasuo. And it's interesting how this spoon doesn't match with the cup. The spoon is a little bit way too big for the cup itself. And no one drinks, and usually not really anyone drinks this kind of Chinese Eastern teacup with a spoon. Usually it's the Westerners would do that, but it wouldn't be interesting if it's just him with his hand and just this, there's no spoon. And we can kind of tell how he is like as a person, uncultured. Because you don't drink tea. Because as Eastern people, they don't drink tea like this. And just by the look of this, you could tell that it's not entirely really clean. See, like for example in Demacia, everything, the book's straight. This is straight, this is really nice and clean and straight. But when we move to this cup here, it's not straight. It's almost like he made this cup himself. It's not even. You can see some thick parts, thin, some bump upwards, and it goes down here. And like as compared to what we saw in Demacia, it's not so clean, it's not straight. And here we get the introduction of Yasuo, and we immediately get cut out as he anticipates for what is going on. This is an anticipation. This look up over here to tell the viewers that there's something going on. So if it is only this and we suddenly cut to this, it'll be a little bit confusing. But because he doesn't even look. He kind of reacts to that direction, so we know, something's going on. And we get to see what's going on. And Yasuo looks a little bit skinnier than usual than how we see him from the other shots, but we get to see how he's like as a character. Really unbothered. And he's just straight up fighting probably some bandits that broke into his house with just his spoon. He doesn't even bother with what they are trying to do. He just wants to drink his own tea. It's like, you mess with my own tea time. You get the spoon. Oh man. Look at how much this guy is putting his own energy and effort in. Oh no. Like, even when the whole entire action is happening here, we are not framed in a way whereby like this two character is in the center. Like how you would usually see a fighting scene whereby a character will be here and a character will be here. So they are in the center and we get to see as he move. As this character move, we get to see the sword move here and there. But no, this whole entire scene is only meant for Yasuo. He's in the center and he hardly moves. So in a way, there's a dead space here. There's a dead space here. It's not meant for us to look there. And usually in film, we would try to avoid having a dead space, which is this whole entire part that's not used. But the main focus here is Yasuo. We don't even care about him. We don't even care about this guy. Whatever he's doing, he's just there for show. Just to introduce Yasuo as a character. Like how I did with what I said about Yasuo from before. Bandits came in, whatever, I'm drinking my tea, you get the spoon. And he doesn't even bother with picking up his sword. They're not even worthy of his sword. And as you can see, it's characters jumping around. Probably some Nalvori clan, from the Nalvori clan, and the whole entire time he looks, oh my god, my dear Yasuo looks so depressed. Why does he look so sad? Why do you look so sad? And by the way, that's a really strong spoon though. This bandit with, I'll just continue calling this guy bandit. I don't think he's from the Nalvori. I'm sorry about that. I have no idea who that character is. I'm not entirely really well versed in all of the lore. I only know quite a few, I think on a surface level. This whole entire time, Yasuo is just looking down. He doesn't even look at the guy. And the camera is also not focused on this guy either. The next moment we get to see, oh, what is he looking at? And that's some really thick eyeliner on Yasuo though. Thick eyeliner and thick eyelashes, oh luscious. And it's so weird because, I wouldn't say weird, but you know how when girls put on makeup and we put our eyeliner, and if we look down, the eyeliner kind of stretches. It stretches in here too. Like as it stretches, then we'll get some sort of like not uniform looking eyeliner. It looks exactly like that in Yasuo's eyes too. I don't exactly understand, but that's a really cool detail. I'm not sure whether it's this on purpose, but as Yasuo is also fighting, you see right here, his hand moves down and moves up, and in this scene we get the same exact thing, moves up and then he moves down from moving his end up, down. And then again, he doesn't even look at the guy, he just continue, get the spoon. And I like how he chose the spoon here. And he gets knocked out. It's like, bite me! But Yasuo's like, yeah, okay, whatever, here you go, take this if you want it. I don't need it anymore. He doesn't even move his weight at all, Yasuo. You look at his feet. If we were to able to see his feet will be entirely planted down on the ground the whole entire time. It's not even moving, he doesn't leave at one point of time. And then we get a review of actually how many people he actually already fought. And look at him! Why are these people so weak? Look at that! And he catches his spoon. And here we get the introduction for the character ends right here. And immediately something happens. All along while he was fighting, it's almost the same as Lux. She was bored, she's not interested in anything. Look at him. All these guys who are fighting him straight on doesn't interest him. They don't even get a reaction from him. And immediately something caught his reaction. He reacted to something. So it must be actually something more interesting than this pile of humans are. This pile of... I mean, if you look at this, the color of them is almost the same as the background color. Whereas Yasuo is just bright blue. You can immediately tell when he's there. You don't even notice that there's another guy here. Because that's the point. You're not supposed to notice them. They're not interesting characters. And whoop, something happens. And this is our first time seeing Yasuo. I mean, from this shot, seeing Yasuo react or move his feet. Jumps off. Whoop. And here's really something interesting. You can see how the aesthetic and design of Ionia is in... And I'm wondering where Yasuo is. Is he in just some random place? Because Yasuo is a wanderer. He doesn't have a house. He doesn't have a home. And if he does, this is too beautiful of a home for him. What if he came in just to fight the boss of these characters and he just took over this place? I don't know. But this is definitely not Yasuo's home. But the way that Yasuo is reacting and acting he's drinking tea like this. I mean, you only drink tea at your own home and some like burglar start breaking into a house and you just do this. So I'm a bit... I mean, okay, I'm not confused, but it just doesn't match up with the law. It's okay. It's a really, really lovely short trailer. I love this. And it is really interesting how this plant is... It's potted plants there, but they're floating. See, look at it. As Jinx hit, boom, goes off, and the plant floats off. Almost the same as before when she come barging into like people's comfort place. And you can tell that he doesn't... Yasuo is more confused at this point. his teacup broke. After seeing his teacup broke, then he reacts even more. He's like, you broke my teacup. I think he made it, that's why. He made that teacup. He definitely made this teacup. And Jinx, after breaking into someone's house, she's like, you're not gonna believe this, look at this, look at this. And then the moment it doesn't work, she realizes and she panics and starts like smashing it. And so if you haven't noticed up till now, we get an introduction of the character, right? Each one of them. Introduction of the character. She's bored. Something intrigues her. Oh, what is this? Still bored. And then Jinx pops in. Haha! And then they jump into WildRift. Same with Yasuo. He's bored. And then Jinx come in. And they jump into WildRift. It's almost like one of those, do you ever feel bored? Do you wish for something more? Worry not, as you got WildRift. It's exactly the same. You're not gonna ever be bored anymore now. You have got WildRift. And then here we get the same thing again. We get an introduction of what is this? Oh, who is this? Where is this place? As we can tell immediately from the colors. Oh, another scene. This is really dark green, muddy colors. This is really desaturated, right? This place desaturated. And this has got some rust, copper. You get an introduction again. Establishing shot of where's this place. This is a really, really beautiful place. They created this composition. As you can see, this creek, it's not entirely straight. Like even if I make a entirely straight line from here to here, as you can see that it's not 90 degrees straight down like how you would see in Demacia, right? It is slanted and some piles of whatever those are at the side, right? Framing, immediately framing. We have this, like this. We are immediately being framed. He's being immediately into this area and we can immediately see what's going on and where we are supposed to be focused at. Even if our eyes start off being here, oh, there's a line, this creek, we follow it all the way down. If our eyes start here, follow it all the way down. There's lines here. We follow this door, we will follow this door. Like this. And not only that, there's a light that is shining. And this is the most brightest in value as compared to all the other parts. See, we get the same thing again. Do you ever feel bored? Want something more in life? Worry not. We got WildRift. You know, they don't even bring Jinx in anymore. You already know. Worry not. Boom. And then immediately we get into a entirely different place. Different colors. This is really desaturated, dirty green. The way Zon looks like with the toxic green. And immediately with this blue, this more aquatic, clean blue that you will see, that entirely contrasts with what we see in here. And instead of having just the scene itself and Riskern coming in and not having Yasuo here, the reason why they put Yasuo here is just so that you will immediately know that, oh, Yasuo got brought to here before, so this is all exactly in the same place and it's not something that's unrelated and it's really straightforward. Where is this? Ah, the Summoner's Reef. Whoop, something in the background caught his eye. Lux is already here and she's already having fun. And we immediately get introduced to a new character. Here. The devil himself. And he's presenting Blitzcrank the ball that Blitzcrank was playing with before. It's a really nice introduction to the team. And we get to see each character as how they are. Especially Camille, she doesn't even move an inch. That's how she is. After she reached her place, boom, static, straight, doesn't even move. She steps in front, doesn't even move. Malphite, he'll move up and down, breathing. And Braum is like, haha, get ready to be punched. And a little bit more introduction of characters. And this is really fun. You know, it's like, oh no. It's almost like a reverse shot, one of those like, oh, your opponent. And then this is our main characters getting ready for a fight. Really intense. Boom. This is just amazing. This is fun. Straight up. Because we get more our eyes is right here. Lux jumps down. Oh, our eyes is in this spot right here. Because she's the one that's moving the most as compared to all the others. And then in the next scene, immediately her cannon comes in this same spot where Lux was. And then we follow. And we get like a follow through of how the characters would react. Like how Lux immediately ducks down. Teemo, his whole entire body jumps up. And Blitzcrank just looks towards that direction in curiosity. Like, oh, what happened? And Yasuo does hardly even react to. All he does is just close his eyes and bend down just a tiny bit as compared to Lux, the way she reacts. This is really nice and interesting character acting and how they are like as characters. What? This is really fun. This is really good. Imagine getting introduced to some character and immediately get blasted. And this is such a lovely character animation here. She just barge out, boom, hitting Yasuo on the way, and then runs, and then Yasuo got to like hold himself back. And she just jumps. Oh. She twirls around. Has a really long hang time and waves. Come on guys, and then just jumps and falls. So you can see that her cannon has got more of a hang time as compared to her. The cannon stays more in place. Her hips fall first, then her head, her hands, her legs, and the last will be her cannon. Looking at the speed of the run for Yasuo, it's a bit off as you could tell that it's a little bit sped up. I think that is due to them having to match the visuals to the sound audio as I have actually talked about previously. Here's something really nice. As he does his wind wall, As you can see, this distorts the background. I think it has got something to do with the IOR. I'm not entirely sure how this works, as how it really distorts how the background. I like the design and the look of this wind wall, and the way how Yasuo is like before when he was fighting those bandits, he's like, oh yeah, whatever, take a spoon. And but then here he's really enjoying himself. You can see him smile, and it's entirely different characters. Here with this last scene here, it may look like there's a lot of things going on, but if you were to break down, originally Lux is in this direction, and as you can see, Timo is gonna come in this direction. So the camera is also turning in this anti-clockwise direction. If you were to see, and then coming in this other direction, together with Blitzcrank and Camille is coming in this direction too. And then after we turn here, we get to see that they're going in this direction. So originally it's here and here, like this. This up here, it's also the same. It's almost like everyone is going in. This is really good composition, because our eyes, it directs our eyes really nicely, as we mainly follow the way the places that Jinx look. Jinx is now currently looking here. Something's gonna come from that direction, which is Camille. Now she's looking in this direction towards there, and then now she looks towards here, and then now she looks here, as something is happening in the back, and we follow straight to this direction. So this whole entire scene is going in this anti-clockwise direction. And he ends it like this. Same with how the effects comes in this same anti-clockwise direction. Even with this circular thing that we see from the very start. That is really nice. Really nice.
I thank you for watching up to this point of me talking a little bit too extensively about this short trailer that Riot has put out. If you have enjoyed my video, please do leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content. See you on the next one!